Last week, the #1 show on every major network was a reality show. That says that reality's here to stay.
There's actually as many genres of reality TV as there are other forms of entertainment. There are probably endless variations on them, and we probably haven't made it all the way through yet.
It's time to start running!
Running Man gives us the ultimate horror of the reality television show, the dystopic vision of the future. It's right on target here and now.
The runners have entered the first quad. Let's go there now, live!
It was very much in the whole genre of our game shows today. There was a studio and there was a game show host.
I love you, yes!
Different characters pursue you and you do combat with them. And then the public would watch this on giant screens in their impoverished neighborhoods. For me, Running Man was at one and the same time both possible and absurd.
There's 400 square blocks of game zone out there, and anything can happen in the next 3 hours.
Running Man has all kinds of connections backwards and forwards in US TV history. Backwards, it has connections to game shows.
Many of the stunt-type games that you see on the reality shows have their roots in game shows from the 50s and 60s. Shows like Beat the Clock and Truth or Consequences.
I think that reality TV started really with PBS and the American Family. They took cameras and they filmed a family. You know, ordinary people in ordinary situations.
Then you get game shows come documentaries that have been created in Western Europe, sold back to here. There was a show in Sweden in the mid-90s called Expedition Robinson. Expedition Robinson is basically Survivor.
All you really need is a camera and some kind of a host and willing victims. There's the real world, which is a traditional soap opera. There's the adventure story, like Survivor, people stranded on a desert island. In The Running Man, where there's something like Climbing for Dollars, where a guy climbs out of a pit of dogs towards this cache at the top of the rope, you know, which seems completely like Fear Factor.
I started on the second season of Real World, so it was really still in its, you know, infantile stage. And the control room was in a closet. You go into the control room now and it's like a control room for the Super Bowl. We've got cranes and helicopters, makeup and special effects. I mean, it is a huge production. I have about 500 people on the Fear Factor crew. It's almost just simple in nature for a producer. Once we get the great cast, you sit back and let it happen.
I think it, you know, everybody, contributes to the house what they're willing to contribute, what they can contribute. And
but
he built the workout room.
Contribute anything.
You don't have to do anything, just let it happen, film everything, and then let our brilliant story editors figure out the story.
Hello, gorgeous.
The casting on reality shows is perhaps the most important element of the whole genre.
Look at that mother move, huh? Is he beautiful? Who is he?
If the people you cast don't make conflict live, then the show is a dud.
The common thought from a network is, well, you can just hire 2 people, go out and find 12 great people and just, you know, you'll have it. And no, I explain to them, no, this is a long process. This is going to take 10 weeks to cast this show. On Fear Factor, we see 30,000 people for 1 season.
I saw the video of your prison break. Sensational.
Most people think that they just send in a tape or go to a casting call and then all of a sudden you're going on the show a couple days later. It's actually a really, really long process. Mine took 3 or 4 months. A lot of testing, personality tests, psychological tests.
They go in and meet with a psychologist who works for us, and they know that the psychologist is going to share information with us.
Now, I understand that you're single, Amber, and that you live on the West Side.
They ask me a lot of sexual questions and, you know, do you have a boyfriend? Are you going to hook up on the show? Are you going on it to meet anyone? I'm in a room with head honchos at CBS, and I'm answering these questions because I have to.
The questions are incredibly personal. You know, what was the most traumatic experience in your life? A question like that is, if someone doesn't want to share that, then you have to start thinking, well, if they don't want to share that, are they going to want to share and open up their entire life for 18 weeks, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Sensational. Perfect contestant. I want him.
You often ask yourself, well, why would someone come on that show? They're a little bit of an exhibitionist. You have to be. You have to be willing to put yourself out there.
I did it for the reason that I was bored. I didn't know where I wanted to live. I didn't like my job. I didn't have a boyfriend. People always automatically assume that I just went on the show to flaunt my body and to be in Playboy or something, and that was definitely not my thing. But I could tell that I fit into a certain personality that they were looking for. The Newport Beach, blonde-haired, blue eyes, big-boobed girl.
It's playing a game of chess where you're really figuring out now, who's going to work good with this group. We want to have a strong female in every group. Let's make sure we have that. We don't want to just have 3 huge athletic guys in this particular group. We cast for diversity, and diversity usually brings conflict.
Interesting thing about The Running Man is that the contestants that are chosen actually provide a multicultural cross-section of US society. There is a Latina, there is an African-American man, there is a sort of intellectual as signaled by the fact that he wears spectacles, and there is Arnold.
Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Survivor contestant would be very interesting.
You're gonna get us all killed. We got to move on. Let's go, move.
As people watch all these Survivors now, they're learning their lessons. One thing I think the men do is they think, wow, I'm big and tough and strong, and I can go on there and kick some butt, and everyone's gonna like me because I'll do all the work. Those now are the people who get kicked off the earliest. The alpha male, status isn't that cool anymore.
I'll be back.
Only in a rerun.
Now listen to me, because I'm only gonna say this once. This is all a lie.
One of the important things about reality television is that it's not terribly real. It's very, very carefully produced down to the last millisecond. It's frequently organized in terms of a competition. It has product placements
Cadre Cole.
in the same way that television programs and movies do.
In The Running Man, the network slogan is "Seeing is believing." I think that's really relevant because they constantly disprove this idea that what you're seeing is the truth.
There's very little reality in reality television. Much of it is scripted, much of it is manipulated, almost all of it is assisted. It's setups, it's putting people into situations that they would never face in their real life. Although their reactions are genuine, if they're not the reactions that the producers want, they'll do it over again.
Mark Burnett was, I think in the second season of Survivor, he was, called on the mat. Apparently he was using doubles.
When he's mapped onto the stunt double, you'll never know the difference.
I think it was a swimming competition, and he wanted this great helicopter shot. So after the stunt was over, he put some people out there and had them swim and got the helicopter shot. And his argument was, I'm making entertainment. It's an entertainment show. Who cares? I kind of agree with him.
That's producing. That's making good television. And as long as you don't change that moment and make it happen a different way than it originally happened, I don't think you're doing anything necessarily wrong.
I have never said that Real World was a documentary or that Fear Factor was a documentary. That environment that we put them in is a complete fantasy environment. But those 6 people in that environment and the interactions that they have in that environment are 100% real.
From my own personal experience on the show, I know that we never retaped scenes or did anything like that. But I know that just by the fact that you only see 44 minutes of our show out of 900 and something hours, there is no way for everyone to see what really happened. Say, for instance, me coming in on the raft at the very beginning of my show as Cleopatra, as Sean put it. I did I did come in on the raft and I did flip my hair and I was wearing my bikini. But at the same time, that was a 4.5-hour trip on that boat. And they showed maybe 20 seconds of it, if that. And that is the part that they chose to put on TV.
Go ahead, tell some lies about me now.
We don't lie.
One of the dangers of the reality trend is as it continues and as certain shows come back for second and third and fourth seasons, the participants who try out for them are well aware of what the show is, and they would become what the casting directors were looking for instead of just being real.
Being aware that the camera is upon you makes people behave differently, and we know that from all kinds of evaluations, social science research.
For the first few days, you were very careful about what you said, very careful about what you did. You're very guarded, very standoffish. You wouldn't just pick your nose or, do anything weird like that because you knew in your head that they were right there. After 3 or 4 days, your body gets so tired of pretending and so tired of watching yourself and watching what you're saying that you just can't do it anymore. And then at that point, the camera crew just kind of blends in and it's easier and you just absolutely become yourself.
Chasing I'm just sick of it.
I'm chasing around. You've been treating me like Mr. Bleeding Belvedere and I'm bloody sick of it.
The conceit is this is the unvarnished natural person expressing themselves. However, one of the things that they learn to put across, which is crucial on all television, is a strong personality. You can't be a kind of shrinking violet who turns away from the television camera. Even if you learn to be girly and demure, or you perform girly demureness, you must do it in a way that's big for the camera.
Some people are themselves and some people aren't. We were told from the very beginning, you don't even have to use your real name if you don't want to. You can go out there and you can pretend to be whoever you want. No one's ever going to know, because before the show started, we didn't know anyone's names. We didn't know where we were from. We didn't know what people did for a living. And you tell them yourself. So throughout the show, anyone could have been making up anything.
People are kind of encouraged to act out and behave badly, betray each other, and badmouth each other.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I know,
I'm just
it's
tired
always
of
the
meeting.
same shit. It's
Yeah,
always
they
the
always
same
want to
shit.
list and stuff, and I always feel ganged up on.
And then there might be another way in which you conduct yourself when you're in that moment of direct address, when you're perhaps being interviewed by somebody, a camera's there, and you're asked to reflect upon your experience thus far.
They're very good at prompting you to say things that they want you to say. And so when you see somebody saying, oh, well, so-and-so, she's such a bitch, or whatever, maybe that person never really said that. I remember one time they said to me, so tell me something you don't like about Dystopia, when I never said I didn't like anything about Dystopia, but I had to answer their questions.
Part of the pleasure, at least for me watching these shows, is watching the moment when everything else falls away and you just see this person stripped bare. You know, and you see a really honest reaction, which is something that you almost never see on TV. But on the other hand, the situations are so wildly contrived. I mean, on a desert island, in a tank full of electric eels, wearing a bikini. Anyone with half a brain knows that what they're seeing is not real or truthful on reality shows.
One of the similarities between the film and contemporary reality television is that Arnold Schwarzenegger's group have to work together. The other part of it, and I think it's also revealing of some of the tensions in American culture, is that somebody has to win.
Americans are very competitive. They want to win. We learn from the earliest age that you got to win, whether it's the spelling bee or the chili cook-off or the contest in your classroom. Everybody is very competitively oriented in this country, and now reality takes competition to a higher level.
Tell me, what's the #1 television show in the whole wide world?
One thing that makes reality TV so popular is that the viewer can live vicariously through the people on the television screen.
My husband and my little boy, they have their favorites, but I like my men big and cuddly.
Whether it's the romance of The Bachelor, the stardom of being on American Idol, or the fear from Fear Factor, you can sit back at home and feel like you're participating and feel like you're a part of this amazing experience.
It could be you. You know, what would you do in that situation? And it's, comparing yourself to these people who are competing.
Come on, brothers, let's win one for the zero.
People like watching other people's daily lives and, hearing about their gossip and their scoop and their business.
You know what? This is like a group situation. And you guys, if you want to have a moment, then why don't you go in your bedroom like you did last night?
That's why people keep watching. If you watch any reality show that's out today, you watch one day of it and you have to watch the rest. You want to know what's going to happen and you want to know how it ends up. People are really fascinated by that.
But it's quite wrong to think of television as being entirely driven by the desires of the audience. They're very important, but just as important is, in a sense, the political economy or the money-making instincts that drive the industry. The very notable presence of young people in front of the camera on reality television is in part a response to the fact that they are the most prized demographic audience component for advertisers.
Ratings just jumped 8 points right across the board.
8?
The advertisers want the 18 to 49-year-old. Those are the people that are out there buying new products.
Plenty of television programs and genres survive because a particular advertiser wants to target a particular part of an audience and sees a program as a way of doing it.
You want ratings, you want people in front of the TV sets instead of picket lines? Well, you ain't gonna get that with reruns of Gilligan's Island.
But I think the real origin of reality television is in the accounts departments of television networks. Network television does not want to deal with real news and current affairs, is pulling away from drama, in both cases because they cost too much, and is trying to minimize its expenditure while maximizing its audience. The great thing for bottom-line oriented businesses about reality TV is its production cost level. It costs very, very little.
This is television, that's all it is. It's nothing to do with people, it's to do with the ratings.
It's pretty clear that television news and current affairs is having resources diminished all the time. So is drama. More and more resources are going into the reality television genre.
Americans love television. So what do? We give them what they want.
It's a very interesting thought to ponder the link between surveillance and reality TV. On the one hand, reality television provides a look through the keyhole into others' lives that's sort of beguiling and fun and interesting. On the other hand, maybe the keyhole is being stared through by somebody else looking at me.
There are cameras everywhere, and you don't know if the camera that's on you, if indeed you know there's a camera there, is shooting you for television or for some other purpose.
You really are being watched all the time. On surveillance cameras, every time you go to a bank machine, every time you make a transaction on your computer, you're being monitored.
People don't even realize, I guess, the significance of the degree of surveillance that will come because of the Congressional Act after 9/11, which allows the government to turn it on its own people.
In the opening credits of The Running Man, they describe a totalitarian country where government and the entertainment industry are all in one, and any voice of dissent is punishable by death or enslavement to this TV show. Wow, that's kind of a lot like contemporary America.
Get me the Justice Department, Entertainment Division.
In the real world, the connections between government, corporations, and entertainment are closer than ever. We've seen that since September the 11th, and the very close consultations that go on between Hollywood and government.
Damon, it's for you.
Who?
It's the Attorney General.
There is a very deep, a very profound connection between the dystopic vision of the future of The Running Man with the world that we are confronted with in the 21st century.
It's showtime!
One comment I often get is, where is reality going, and will it be The Running Man? Is that the next thing that we're going to see?
Who do you think will make the next kill?
There are elements of reality TV that come close to what The Running Man was about. I think a show like Fear Factor has heightened the danger element of reality TV in a big way.
You try to extrapolate on this, and well, where's it going to go? Public execution? Are people going to offer themselves up for enough money to say, okay, if I'll compete for $2 million, and if I fail, I die, but my family gets $2 million, or my mother gets $2 million?
If the networks are trying to make money and the ratings maybe slip a little bit with, maybe not so risque things going on, then I hope that they don't turn up the volume and make it, crazier. But they probably will.
I don't think there's any doubt that as it crests in popularity, there'll be increasing pressure on producers to come up with new twists, new challenges, new risks, new opportunities.
Watch that screen!
We've seen it progress from little here and there shows to big, crazy productions, but what is the next step? I really hope that it isn't something like The Running Man shows that our world turns into.